Welcome to Beyond the Backyard, the Propane podcast where we explore the energy that fuels more than you think. From backyard grills to transportation, residential, commercial, and agricultural applications, we're diving into how propane powers everyday life. Whether you're a seasoned pro in the propane industry or curious about clean, safe, and reliable energy, this is your place for powerful insights and fresh perspectives. Each episode, we bring you the people, the technology, and the stories moving propane forward. You'll hear from industry leaders, problem solvers, and propane pros with fresh ideas that go far beyond the tank. Beyond the Backyard is powered by MOPERC, the Missouri Propane Education and Research Council. Now let's get started and go beyond the backyard with propane. So, Mark, how about you introduce yourself and tell me and our listeners a little bit about yourself?
I am Mark Porth. I am your current president of the Missouri Propane Gas Association and excited to be in that position. I'm a long-term propane guy. I work for a company called CHS, and they are an amazing company that allows me to be able to fully support the industry that we're involved in, being the propane marketing of an amazing energy that we get to sell. I've been in the propane business for 37 years, maybe longer than some of us have been alive, but that's okay. All that means is I have less hair and a grayer beard or something like that. But what a great industry this has been. It's kept my family in shoes and groceries for many, many years. Just truly excited for this opportunity to chat with you guys today.
Yeah, me too. So how did you get your start in the propane industry?
Well, right after dirt was invented, just kidding. I was selling computers for AT&T, large computer systems for them, and was literally starving to death. And I kept driving by these big colonial buildings in Liberty, Missouri, just off of I-35. If anybody knows that area, there's two beautiful big brick colonial buildings. Their parking lot was full. They were parking in the grass. They had so much going on, kind of a thing, and didn't know what they did, but it had to be better than what I was doing. And so went and found the employment office and said, "Hi, my name is, and I would love to come to work for you. And oh, by the way, who are you and what do you do?" And it was Ferrellgas. And so at that time, Ferrellgas, as they still are today, a very strong company. And a week later, I was selling propane from Indiana, Kentucky up through Maine with Ferrell Petroleum was the name of it at that time. And so that was my start back in 1987. Wow, right? A lot of water's gone under the bridge since then. But that's literally where I got my start. Have been in propane ever since. There's several different company names that are involved in that, but like in Enron, people know that name. Phillips 66, ConocoPhillips, SimStream. There's several different names there. Some of them are still up and going, and others have moved on to do other things. But again, it's been a great, great industry.
Yes, you saw an opportunity and you took it.
Well, I knew that it had to be better than what I was doing because, my goodness, I was working really, really hard and not making any money. And they were doing something well because you can't have all the parking lots full of people parking in the grass because they needed the people. Their presentation, the big colonial buildings were awesome, and they brought me in and been here ever since.
Wow. So now you're currently with CHS. So tell me more about them and what do you do?
Yeah, so I was working with Phillips 66, and I guess it's 13 years ago now or so, 12 or 13 years ago. Phillips sold the propane marketing that they had to CHS. One of the best things that ever happened to me was that change. CHS is an incredible company. They take great care of their employees, which then in turn take great care of their customers. We are a cooperative, CHS is, and so our customers are owners. And so for a part of our business, and then probably more than half of my business is made up of independent marketers. And so the great part of that is that the independent marketers that I get to work with get a lot of the same benefits that the cooperative owners get. And so CHS has been a great company. They are a true supplier. They take great care of their people and their company customers. make sure that they're always in fuel and get what they need.
I didn't know that they were a cooperative, so that's interesting to learn.
Yes.
And how long have you been there? You said 13 years?
Yeah, came over in 2013, so we're running them at 12 years, I guess, working on 13.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the biggest benefits of using propane?
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
How long do we get to chat about this? Greatest benefits of using propane. For one, it keeps your home extremely warm. It's energy that is able to be stored on your property. You're not having to be dependent upon some sort of a transmission system to be able to get it to your home come wintertime, which is our major use is wintertime heat. And so, with that 500-gallon or that 1,000-gallon tank sitting out behind your home, that is the energy that is waiting for you to be able to use. Again, you're not waiting on a power line, you're not waiting on a pipeline, you're not waiting on any other system to be able to get you the energy for the warmth that you need for your house, whether that warmth is for heating the air or for heating your water or for heating your dinner or for heating your clothes. I mean, I can continue on and on the benefits of what propane does and the amazing energy that it is and how many different places it can touch you in your life. It's a pretty cool thing. That's just one piece of what propane does. Is that the biggest benefit? I don't know, because everybody has a different way. We're using it for engine fuel. So for those folks who are changing the way that they're wanting to power their engines, it is an amazing energy for that also. And so it does a lot of different things very quietly, very smoothly, very easily, with a lot of flexibility that a lot of the other energy sources simply don't have the ability to do.
And it's very clean.
Oh my, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you're using it as an engine fuel, the carbon emissions coming off the tailpipe are extremely low, near zero. If you're looking at the tailpipe of a Bluebird Vision school bus, when that bus is running up and down the road, its emissions are almost zero, as opposed to a battery powered school bus, which they say is zero emissions. Well, it's true. It does not have a tailpipe, but the emissions that were generated to be able to recharge that battery that's powering that bus is extremely dirty. And so if you look at it from birth, from where the energy was produced to the time that it's consumed, propane is one of the cleanest energies out there.
And when looking at electric, that's what consumers don't realize is that you got to get that energy from somewhere.
Exactly right.
They don't realize that.
They think that they're doing really well because they don't have a tailpipe. Well, yeah, but the coal that was consumed, that was burnt to be able to provide that electricity is not very clean. It's cleaner than it used to be, and they're working real hard for that. And don't get me wrong, I love electricity. I love for the lights. Air conditioning is one of the greatest things that ever happened. I can't have toasted bread without electricity. But there's a place for every type of energy. And if you're getting the best use of the energy being produced, propane stands right up there at high.
Right. Now, is using propane safe?
Absolutely. Far safer than a lot of other energy sources. Literally, you can carry it around in a 20-pound cylinder, that little white cylinder that's sitting probably on your back deck that you're cooking your steaks on, because I know nobody ever cooks with that nasty carcinogens of wood or charcoal or those. I'm just teasing. It's a lot of people are firmly love to use those wood, but that's different because if you're going to have a charcoal fire, you got to go out there and light that however many minutes or hour prior to wanting to cook. And with propane, it's simply sitting there waiting for you to use it in that 20-pound cylinder. You turn the valve on, you click the igniter, and you have instant heat. And with minutes, you're ready to cook your dinner. And I don't think I've ever heard of anybody cooking their dinner on gasoline or diesel. That'd be crazy. But yeah, it heavily regulated we are, and we are self-regulating also to where we manage ourselves and our safety protocols to a very high standard to make sure in ensuring that we are providing the energy that the consumer needs in the safest way possible.
So, how important is safety to the propane industry?
Without a doubt, it's job one. Nothing happens without thinking about safety first. We're going to do the best that we can to ensure that your installation at your home is leak free and is ready for you to be able to use at any time that you need to. And sometimes we need the consumer, if they make a change in their house, your propane marketer who takes care of your tank needs to know that so they can come out and double check and make sure that if you did the installation yourself, which is not highly recommended, but I know there's a lot of DIYers out there. All we simply ask is if you do it yourself, please let us know so that we can come out and double check and make sure that your installation continues to be safe and leak free. And so that continues to help with the safety piece of that, where we are wanting to be, we're progressive and proactive in helping you to be safe.
100%.
In fact, it's a law. The state of Missouri, it is a law that if you have made a change to your system, you are required to call your propane marketer and let them know.
And it's also required now that anyone that services or installs those propane appliances have the right training to be able to do that.
Correct. That they have gone through the safety programs and training classes to ensure that they fully understand how to properly install. Is absolutely correct, Molly. That's a good point, because there's a lot of installers out there that think that they know what they're doing, but they may have missed a loop or two or many steps that can make their installation not as safe as possible. Let us come help you with that. We've got the experts to be able to say that.
Yeah, so that goes into our next question. What kind of safety training and certifications are available for installers and homeowners?
Wow, you could probably help me more with that, Molly, than I could rattle off the top, because there's many, many different classes, whether it's our employees that are being trained. It's a rigorous list of certifications and trainings that they need to qualify for and pass a test that they know what they're doing. And it's extensive. We'll just say it that way. If you're very interested in knowing all those, please reach out to Molly, and she'd be happy to provide you with all those pieces and parts. But all I can say is propane guys are still learning and being trained every single day.
Yes, the Missouri Propane Gas Association does provide those certifications and trainings for those installers. So,
very important.
In your opinion, how has the propane industry changed over the years?
Propane is propane. Since the late 1800s, propane is the same molecule. Nothing, C3H8, 3 carbons, 8 hydrogens. So we're a very hydrogen rich, stable, low carbon molecule. Again, we can able to carry our product around in a small 20-pound cylinder that goes all the way up to 120,000 gallon storage tanks that are out in the field. Again, all holding an amazing amount of energy that are ready to be used by the consumer. How it's changed is the industry's gotten more efficient in the last multiple years. Furnaces are becoming more efficient. Hot water heaters, whether it's a standard tank type water heater or the newer tankless hot water heaters, that technology, that ability to be able to provide warm water for whatever your home may need warm water for, has seen some definite upgrades where you're not using as much of propane as you have in the past. Furnaces are continuing to be more and more efficient all the time, to where you're getting more and more. 95% of the BTUs that your furnace is producing is going into your home, as opposed to maybe 10, 15 years ago, up to maybe 20% of that energy was going through the flue stack venting. And so, they're able to capture more and more of that energy so that you're using more of what you're paying for. How has it changed? My goodness, come back to the autogas piece of it. Autogas and propane are the same molecule, just used in the transportation industry, uses the words autogas. The technology that is being used today to manage engines, as all cars are more and more computer related, so is the propane autogas. It's injecting into these motors, getting very good efficiencies, making them extremely clean, Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's kind of like thinking about in the late 80s, early 90s, what your cell phone looked like. It was probably in a great big suitcase almost kind of a thing, till today that it's extremely powerful and able to hold it in your hand. That same technology is moving through everything in our lives, and propane is being a part of that too. So, how's it changed? Almost everywhere.
So we've mentioned the Missouri Propane Gas Association a couple times, but can you tell us what that association is and how you first became involved in that organization?
Great. Yes. Missouri Propane Gas Association, it truly is an association made up of members of the propane industry in the state of Missouri. Pretty straightforward. Not every marketer in the state is a member of the association. We wish they would. And many, many more are seeing the benefits of becoming members of the association through whether it's discounted in training programs, helping with marketing, putting Molly to work for you to be able to help you market your product out of your own business and location. The Missouri Propane Gas Association is a very strong association. It's been around for, well, I don't know the exact number of years, but it's built on the backbone and the backs of the men and women that have come ahead of us that have set an extremely high standard for service, for safety, and for communicating and for taking care of the propane industry. And so, I think of down in the conference room at the association office, along the wall of the conference room is all the men and women who have come before me and, have put their time and efforts into this association. And we are reaping the benefits of that today. And I hope what I'm doing is setting the next generation up to do the very same thing, that the propane industry will be stronger afterward I'm done and continues on, however that is, whether that's the safety piece or the training piece, the education piece, on and on and on. That's what your association does, helps you market yourself. How did I first come involved? I wanted to, in that I'm a wholesaler, I provide product to the end user, or actually to the marketer that then provides to the end user. That's where all my customers work. And so if they're all in one place, why not be a part of that association to where you can capture and able to chat with them all in one environment as opposed to having to travel as much? And so that was my main reason for becoming involved in the association, was just networking with other propane marketers.
Yep, and that is a big benefit too of being a member.
You bet. We're still here today.
So you officially became the MPGA board president in the fall of 2024. And prior to that, you served as interim president for 18 months. Why did you say yes to taking on a leadership role?
First of all, an extreme honor to be asked to be able to run through the chairs from secretary, treasurer, vice president to president. What an honor to be able to do so. It's a small fraternity of folks who have done that in this industry and in this state. To be able to add my name to that list is truly an honor. And I take it very seriously. And how I became the interim president was Luke Fitzpatrick, who is now our CEO and chairman or president. He's the guy who runs the association. He was a propane marketer and was sitting in that seat until Steve Aarons announced that he was going to retire shortly. And so we had to find a new person to come in and run the ship. And Luke took on that role and is doing an amazing job. But I would, at the time, was vice president. So that brought me up to that role. And so by the time I'm done with my term, I will have been president of the propane marketers of Missouri for a very long time. Probably people are tired of hearing and seeing from this old face kind of a thing. But again, it is an absolute honor to be able to represent, whether it's in the state or nationally. I travel to all the national board meetings and try to represent the state and make sure that everybody knows that Missouri is doing very good and progressive things, which is important in sharing ideas with the national people and that. Why did I take it on? Because they asked me to. Long answer to a short question.
So, what are you most proud of accomplishing at the association so far?
Wow. Man, there's a lot of different things. And none of it is anything that I have done. other than trying to herd the worms into the general direction of where to put our efforts. But I mean, bringing on yourself, Molly, is a major accomplishment. To be able to bring the new blood into our association and into our industry is so vitally important. Bringing new people, whether it's yourself or new drivers or new service people or new CSRs, customer service reps, bringing that next generation into our industry and make it a career, not just a job, but let's make this a career that you want to invest in your livelihood too, which again has been my career. And I am without a doubt blessed beyond what I deserve. The good Lord has taken care of us, but the propane industry is a part of that blessing. And so, if anything else, just helping new people come into our industry. And we've done a lot with autogas. We've done a lot with school buses, and we've done a lot with helping funding with grants and those pieces. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on that some of it makes a bigger splash than others. But at the end of the day, if I'm proud of anything, is that I think that we are as good, if not better, than what we were this time last year. We are continuing to work, put our shoulder to the rock, and just keep pushing.
I agree. Do you have any specific goals that you want to accomplish that maybe you haven't yet as president?
Wow. Yeah, finish out my term. If it someday ever will end,
Yeah.
which it will. And that's exciting. But continue safety, continuing to train, to get the HVAC folks, the installers, more trained across our state. Again, it all rolls back to the safety piece. If you have that cornerstone of safety, other things come along with that. And so, is there one thing I want to accomplish? No. Is there a lot of things? Yeah, there's a list. And are they easy to do? No. They take long-term commitments. And the folks that are coming behind me, those people have the very same long-term commitments to our industry. And so I think we're in good hands.
How does MPGA get the word out about propane?
Well, you're starting it. This podcast, I think, is a good thing. We're involved in a lot of, whether it's your hometown homecomings or the state fair or through advertising through Facebook or TikTok, whatever that thing is. I'm not a TikToker, but it's all the social media and continuing to provide it with more than just fun pictures and funny jokes, but provide good content that can help the average consumer to understand more or ask questions about what we do and how we do it. It all comes back again to education, and that education about safety.
That is definitely one thing we try to do, is educate and then remind of the safety aspect as well.
You bet.
So, bringing me to the next point, safety and education are pillars of MPGA's mission. What's new in training programs, safety initiatives, and educational partnerships?
I don't know that there's anything ground shaking new, Molly, but I do know that there's more of a focus on helping the HVAC folks to understand propane better. I know our propane commission, the folks that are the police of ourselves, again, we are self-regulating, but the people that are out there doing the inspections are spending more time talking with the HVAC people so that they understand that they need to be trained, they're required to be trained, and getting them into those training classes to where they can become safer as they're out working with the public and doing propane sets, whether that's setting furnaces or hot water heaters or doing the outside connections, on and on and on. There's so many different pieces and parts and layers. They simply need to know and need to be trained on those parts. If they become members of the association, that all that does is help them further. There's a discount, of course, if you become a member of the association, but it also gets you into receiving our magazines and our weekly emails and those other things that continue to provide and drive home the importance of safety. Those educational partnerships are vitally important.
So, you mentioned Luke Fitzpatrick a little bit ago. He's the new MPGA and MoPerc president/CEO. He's been in the role for a little over a year now. How would you say that transition to the new CEO has been for the organization?
I think it's great. Steve Aarons, his predecessor, Steve was a marketing guru. His ability to be able to look outside the box and think of programs and ways to be able to market our fuel, his ability to be able to write, his ability to be able to communicate were amazing. Luke has some of those skills also, but Luke's forte is the training piece, is the fundamental. As I said a while back, he came from a propane marketer. His job was working with the consumers on a day-to-day, hand-to-hand basis and understanding the training rigors that we need to go through to ensure that our industry is well trained. Luke is all about that. So I think we've had a little bit of a shift from a more of a marketing focus. We're not losing any ground there. We're continuing to talk about the great things that propane is. But I think Luke is taking us to this next chapter of driving the safety, driving the education and the requirements that are needed to be safe and to be educated and to be compliant and to be whatever it might be. That's where Luke's focus is. And I love that about his leadership. And the industry or the association always takes on the path or the heart of the leader. And that's where Luke's heart is, more towards the operations side of our industry, which is great. It's a great fit for what we need to do. Luke's an amazing young gentleman with a lot of drive, a lot of energy, and his desire is to do really, really well. I'm right behind him, pushing him as hard as I can. Prodding him along, let's keep on keeping on. And so I'm excited for the change. And I think I don't want to say for the better because that's not true, but it's for the different because it may tweak somebody else's interest if they're more operationally driven to become a part of the board or become a part of the industry or get more trained because of the operational focus.
Yeah. And like you said, we're not really pulling back on the marketing aspects at all.
Not at all.
So we still have that element, and then we're just adding or emphasizing more of the training with Luke taking over that role.
Yeah, and we had the operational piece in the past, but there wasn't nearly the focus that there is today. But you're right. The marketing piece is just as strong, if not as stronger than it was. Do we miss Steve? Yeah, he's a good guy. But he earned the right to retire. But you still see occasionally some of Steve's touch and influence on us. So he's not gone. He's still around. He which is good. You'd want that.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon for MPGA that you want the listeners to know about?
We're going to train you, whether you want to be trained or not. We're going to find you and we're going to continue to ask you to become trained. I know we've talked safety almost to death in this podcast so far, but that is the level of importance that's there, the level of importance to be trained. Trust me, you don't know what you don't know. And the only way that you're going to know and find those things out is to go through a very good, very educational, very relevant training courses to be able to upgrade your level of education about propane and safe installations and those things. We're going to train you, whether you want to be or not. You might as well just say, okay, let's go. Let me join the party with you instead of bucking the system or hiding or whatever. Our desire is to help you is the only reason that we're going to be so persistent, is we want to make our industry safer, and whomever that is, we need you to be a part of us and to help us to teach you what you don't know. We're coming after you, we want you.
What's something our listeners may not know about propane?
I think I talked about it a little bit earlier, but about the original molecule, the propane, its chemical makeup is 3 carbons and 8 hydrogens. We all know that hydrogen is the energy of the future, possibly, but the future is still out there. Propane is here today. Again, with only 3 carbons, if you compare that to other energy sources, whether that's coal, whether that's gasoline, whether that's diesel, whether that's However, your electricity is generated other than by water, because gravity still wins. Water flowing through turbines just is very efficient and very clean. Propane is only three carbons, as I said before, is a hydrogen rich, stable molecule that can be contained. Your 20-pound cylinder on your back deck again is somewhere around 150 to 175 psi at max. Cooler it is, the much lower that comes to. CNG, compressed natural gas, was a thing and it's still around, but those vehicles, and to compress it to a liquid is like 3,000 psi. Hydrogen is somewhere between 8 and 9,000 psi. To get it compressed to a liquid, either you have to super chill it. A lot of energy goes into making it something that's easier to use, where propane is just readily available, simple and easy, very low pressure relatively to a lot of other energy sources. And as you said, very clean. So if you're thinking about how am I going to power what's going forward, propane may be your answer. If you compare it to electricity in kilowatts, propane may be your answer. Again, you don't have enough time for me to be able to continue to chat about the benefits of propane. I don't know if you figured it out yet or not. I'm fully sold on propane. Anything around our home that can burn propane does burn propane. My wife's truck that she drives burns propane. We have a small mowing business. All those mowers burn propane. Of course, our home has heat, has hot water, has dryers, has cooking, has outdoor lighting, has outdoor grills. Anything that can burn propane does around our home.
Yeah, I just think that's so cool.
It is. It's an amazing deal.
You once said building a propane business isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, that rock is great big. We've got to push on to be able to get our points across, to get our programs through, to get people to hear us and listen and change their mindsets. It's not going to happen just because we said it one time. I wish it would, but it doesn't. It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of people to be able to do that. And our propane industry has the right amount of people to be able to get us to the next level. You can't run out there and be a flash in the pan. You've got to be consistent. You got to be there every day, every day. Show up, be a part of it, make your world better. And you only do that by putting your shoulder to that rock and pushing on it with all your friends. And the cool part of it is that rock is rolling. We're moving, we're progressing forward. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, we definitely are. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners that they might be interested in or might inspire them?
Wow, I've talked a lot. I don't know how long we've been on, but we've had a great conversation without a doubt. Learn more about us. Ask some questions. Respond to our Facebook or Instagram posts. Ask questions. We've got programs that are going on. Some of them are fun programs where you're rewarded for simply responding. Be a part of that. Learn more about propane. It's an amazing energy that I think if you as the average consumer knew more about it, they might, fully more understand how great and amazing our energy is. And so propane's not going anywhere. We make a lot of it every single day. It's an amazing energy source that never goes bad. We don't have to worry about it turning as some other energy sources. If it sits too long, it goes bad. Propane doesn't have that issue. It can sit in that 500-gallon or 1,000-gallon tank behind your house for multiple 20 years, and it's still the very same molecule it was the day that it was put in there. There's not many things that can say that it has that kind of a shelf life. Propane's there. It's there. It's ready for you. It's, again, as I started with, it is energy that is sitting on your property, ready to be used as you want it to be used. You're not dependent upon some other transportation system to get it there. It's sitting ready for you to go. Make sure your tanks are full coming into wintertime. There's summer/fall fill is going on right now. Your propane marketers want to get your tanks full now so that they are able to help you more when the winter comes, because winter is coming. It's going to get cold. So might as well get prepared and be ready for it today.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope that's inspiring.
You inspired me.
Okay, good deal.
What is your favorite thing about propane?
There isn't one. There's about 50. But I think the best thing about propane is its portability, that it is energy that, again, as I just said, but it's energy that is ready to be used wherever you need that. Whether you're put it in, again, in a small 20-pound cylinder and take it out and you're flaming weeds off your driveway. Or, I mean, you're able to carry this amazing energy with you wherever you need to go. Whether you're tailgating at the Chiefs game, hope everybody does, and hope everybody's a Chiefs fan. But there's a lot of propane that's consumed at the tailgating because, again, easy, immediate energy that's ready to be used. It's an amazing molecule. What it does, how it does it, and it does it so quietly and conveniently and easily that many people just simply take it for granted that it's just there. You can run down to the convenience store and get you a new 20-pound bottle, and off you go with an amazing amount of energy sitting there ready for you to be able to use. There's no other energy source like it. None. Nothing. It stands on its own.
I agree. Yep. I've definitely, from my last a little over a year being here as an intern and then now full time, I have learned such an abundance about propane and I'm fully on board.
A year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it was that you came on with us as an intern, you were like, propane what?
Yeah.
And now today you're able to have a very educated conversation about it. I love that, Holly. That's great stuff. Again, that's my desire. My goal is that you are doing what I'm doing 30, however many years from now, that you're still out championing and talking about propane and the amazing fuel that it is, because it's still going to be here. So you might as well talk about it.
Yep, exactly. And that's our goal.
There you go. It's a career, not a job.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. I think that wraps it up.
What a deal. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the propane industry. I appreciate what they are doing. And I think we're in great hands. Let's keep moving forward. If you have questions, please reach out. Molly is readily available to be able to answer whatever you may have. And if she doesn't, Luke is available to answer whatever may fill in there. We have an amazing industry and an amazing product. Burn all you want. We'll go make you some more. I promise. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Molly. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Backyard, the Propane Podcast. This episode is complete. For show notes and additional information on the benefits and uses of propane, visit propanemissouri.com. You'll also find interesting case studies and valuable propane safety information. Have a great day and remember to listen to our next episode of Beyond the Backyard to hear about the people, the technology, and the stories moving propane forward.